Annette Russo, and I am an assistant professor of art, and I am making a congregation, which I think is pretty funny, making alligators. I started out in life wanting to be a veterinarian because I loved my animals a lot. And I had almost every kind, and I didn't like it when they got hurt. In fact, the first hospital I formed was a butterfly hospital when I lived in Connecticut, and I think I was about 6 or so. And I decided that, ill butterflies need to be saved, and I saw a special on how you give them sugar with a toothpick or something. And I had way too many butterflies in my bedroom that I had brought in until my parents told me I couldn't do that anymore. So, a long time desire to help little things, So becoming a veterinarian involved shots and operations and dying, and that was kind of hard for me too. So I didn't like shots, I didn't like to look at blood, and I didn't like the idea of things always being destroyed. So I know the field of medicine is to do with saving, not just destroying, but there's still that part of it. So I became an artist. Marv Clavin had a lot to do with that. He was a recruiter. I mean, he worked really hard to get students that he wanted to be their students, and I was one of those then. So I became an art student here at Millikin, and I quickly fell in love with clay. I would spend hours in the studio making things. And the first semester I was making things, I was making animals, of course, and I was making dark clay and light clay patterns of deer and lots of kind of antelope sort of things. I love those. And horses and llamas. And so that was that was my first semester. And put them all in a kiln, all facing out. And I was so excited to see them in the kiln together. And then all of them were destroyed in the first firing. And there was the destruction back again. But it was a little bit easier to deal with because I knew I could do it again. I could build them again, and there really wasn't a soul lost, right? There was some work lost, but it really wasn't lost. It all just added up to lots of experience in making. And whenever you make something once, it's easier to make it the second and third and fourth times, and so, destruction's not so bad. Gaining as much information and as much experience is really an exciting thing, I think, that everybody should be doing, and more than just their area of study. And I love collecting information, collecting ideas, and collecting imagery, and it tends to just start swirling around like a big tornado in my head, and you make different connections that way. You'll attach things that don't belong together, and when you go to pull something out, you never know what's going to come out. It has to be attached to something that is pulling like a magnet from the other side. And so that's the way I think about the way my brain works. It's more like a giant file cabinet that you can't find the file usually, and then all of a sudden it shows up, that kind of a thing. But the tornado is probably more accurate.